Um, 24 years back, I was born to a generation called Children of War. My father and his generation were the victim of genocide, and 3 million people were massacred, and rest of them were traumatized. The economy crippled. They just end up living in a simple and a humble neighborhood where I was born. And the neighborhood was full of crimes. And my dad was super angry because they were the generation that suffered the pains and burdens of war. And so my dad was after over everything, and he ended up being a super religious person, and at some point believed in some sort of very hardcore belief in religion. So what he did is like for all his life, years after years, he radicalized me, and like, I mean, he kept radicalizing me, and for like, and then I end up like being a very extreme at some point, going into my university. So what happened um, like before 18, I just radicalized tens of thousands of young people of my age in a village. And then when I moved to a college is a Catholic college in my country, and let me see. So, that's the scenario in a balance in my country of my father suffered that. So, and I'm Hassan. I'm from Bangladesh, the tiny little tiny little country, but it's a very complicated history. Like my grandfather was born in India, and my father was born in Pakistan, and I was born in Bangladesh. So that's the common history that we have. But now, like that time, they used to hate each other a lot. So when I came to a Catholic college for the first time in my life, in my first day, I sat in the first bench with a Hindu friend on my left and a Christian on my right and a Buddhist in the front and a tribe in the left. So that was the first time that I came out of my comfort zone, and I really been into a different kind of experiences that really, I mean, for that time, for 2 years, we had a lot of discussion, conversation. We used to attend each other's celebration and festivals. So what I realized for the first time in my life is that it's always comfortable living with the homogeneous community. When you step out of the community, when you experience something else, it really changes yourself. So in that school, so the Pope Francis visited my university last year. So in that university, what we learned, we not only tolerated each other, we just understood each other's differences, we celebrated it, and it ended up being a good friend. And that's maybe one of my turning points that really transformed me and where I am today. So, and after that, when I finished my graduation from that college, and then I think that I don't want anyone of my generation to be suffering or going through the same kind of experiences that I had. So we started doing a different kind of project. It's called PeaceEmpire. So in PeaceEmpire, what we do is like our generation, what we believe that we are a victim of propaganda, right-wing propaganda, too much hateful narratives on the social media and everything. So the best way to counter that narrative is like to create some counter narratives. So what we did is like, let's say a jihadi or some extreme people or right-wing background, they come to young people and say that, oh, go for it. So there's some reference in the Holy Quran or whatever. So what we do is like, we try to make some counter narratives on the same reference so that, no, that's a different context. So you're not living in that situation anymore. And so we this is my hometown, and we are like trying to make a big campaign, and hopefully in the next couple of years I'm running for public offices from my hometown. So it's like a big grassroots movement. So what we think is that in my country, in my community, we have a too much state, too less society. So what I would like to do is like, it's kind of bottom-up approach of building a very grassroots community so that people can participate in the politics or whatever. So it's like I'll be doing there like for a long time. What happened?
Going backward.
It's fine, yeah, it's fine, yeah. So it's like what we do basically is that the idea of re-engineering the society. Like, our society is a too much homogeneous society. So we'd like to create or recreate a society of opposition and society of dimension, because we have a lot of paralysis of thinking, critical thinking, and people are always like, they're a little bit scared of being different or being critics to government or establishment. So it's like a lot of young people of my generation, they think that they're being unheard, they're not being represented in the political system. So, and the mainstream media barely pay any heed to the young people. So we created a kind of alternative media when we to go to young people of my community and try to listen to their story and try to publish them in forms of, in all forms, in visual forms and also in the printed version. So it's more or less like giving them hopes, giving them idea, and at the same time that if I talk about a little bit of my background of why we created the organization, my friend and I created the organization in 2015, and he's he was murdered a couple of years back. So he was the past LGBT magazine editor of my country. His name was Julius. Can you say his name? Julius. Okay. And also one of my friends, he's one of the greatest author of our time. He was also murdered. His name is Abhijit. Can you say his name? Abhijit. So the main thing that we do is it's planning. It's planning for the community. What I really want to the young people of my generation, they somehow think that they are not being integrated in the process. So what we do is it's a huge political movement. It's a movement of 50,000 people. So what we would like to do, bring all of them together so that they can somehow feel that they are being heard, they are being represented, and somehow they can run for the public offices. And what I believe is that very crucial for the young people to be in the politics, because this is, I think, most legitimate way of influencing or reshaping the structure, whatever you call. So that's all from me.